Tonight on Ramblers Unleashed, what is going on in the women's divisions on both Raw and SmackDown? Will Old Man J-Bone wake up in time to join his co-hosts? Is he jealous of their youth looks and ability to see without Coke bottles on his face? What time is it in the Baron's world? Will Max and Dizzy be able to discuss the news before J-Bone starts snoring again? Find out next on Ramblers Unleashed on Rusev Day.
This video contains gratuitous use of profanity and uncomfortable pauses to compensate for lack of professionalism and original thought. Viewer discretion advised.
The wrestling podcast that sets all other podcasts apart. Covering news from the world of WWE, AEW, TNA, and more. Your favorite weekly episodic podcast, Ramblers Unleashed, starts now.
Number 56, it is time to ramble. Welcome to Tuesday night. And boy, we are ready. It feels like it's been forever since we've been on here, but happy you're here and happy that all the guys are back this week. Baron, your assignment last week, you flew to TKO headquarters to ask why Liv Morgan didn't have a title shot at WrestleMania. Did you find out the reason?
No, because I was kicked out right away.
We know that guy. He's gone.
He's gone. On the ban list, man. I didn't make it very far. That's why I didn't make it that night. So I had to travel back. You guys know the vibe. I did get some bud from there. But outside of that, man, I'm just happy to be back.
Did you make it past the merchandise stand, though?
No.
Oh, shit.
No.
Not even the food, like the food stand?
What happened is I dropped a little bit of LSD prior to going to this event, and I just ended up at the worst location possible. So I got lost, boys. I'm sorry. I know you gave me an assignment, but I fucked it up this time.
I told you specifically, do not fuck this up. Do not take any drugs unless it's weed. Don't fuck it up. And what did you do? You messed it up. Baron, I'm disappointed.
What you should have told me was to do drugs. And then I wouldn't have done that.
Kids don't do drugs. Okay?
See, I thought LSD just stood for lots of stinking dope.
Well, in Baron's world, it does. Well, Baron, we're glad you're back, man. We have so much to cover tonight. Let's go ahead and introduce everybody. First and foremost, we'll start with my best friend, the neighborhood heel, a man with more wrestling knowledge in his pinky finger than Tony Khan could ever muster up with his toy figures, and the only guy that I know that pops bigger for Joel Gertner than any of us, especially you, J-Bone. Baron, you don't have to, but J-Bone, you can address him as Mr. Mages, but we call him the Mighty Maximus Mages. Golfers clap. Max, how are you, sir?
You know, I'm great. And let me just say, we do need to talk about the dangers of getting old, all right? Thankfully, 3 of us are still in our prime. We still look great. We can still see how great we look. One of us, on the other hand, listen, guys, I don't want to tell his business everywhere, but this man has been in the hospital more in the last 2 months than I have in the last year and a half. That's the dangers of getting old. And look at him now.
Yeah, and let me point something else out, too. There was only one person that didn't golfers clap for you, and it was him.
Yeah, well...
Give it to me, J-Bone. Give me the fucking shit. Well, you know, I have to stick with my boy J-Bone. I understand that you guys want to say he's old. Max, I know you're creeping up on that age bracket as well, brother. Towards J-Bone. He's
wow.
He's striving right now. Max, I love you. But for the sake of the podcast, I don't love you today. I'm sticking up for my boy J-Bone. Where I really was meeting up with J-Bone to get food, of course, per usual. On assignment last week.
Hey, you know that guy you guys kicked out of TKO headquarters before he ever made it through the front door? I need you to put him on the card at Mania against me.
Tables, ladders, and chairs match, please.
You know what, Max? I will accept your offer. I will only give you 2 minutes in the ring because I have a feeling that by the time we hit the ramp, we're both dead from exhaustion. So yeah, let's give it a shot. You know,
It's a long ass walk.
that's what I'm saying, dude. Like fuck that.
Now hold up just a second.
At least it's downhill.
For our entrance, I'm arranging golf carts for us to get to the ring.
Okay.
I was gonna say, like, I would need a scooter to get down the fucking ring. I'd need like Undertaker's bike to get down the ring.
Oh, I would be stone cold and pull out the 4-wheeler and go down the fucking ring.
Yeah,
Listen,
exactly.
There you go.
I'm also arranging for you two to be there with us. We can't be without our best friends.
Well, I'm in your corner, dude. I'm in your corner.
Oh, I know. You'll be on my golf cart. I arranged a special ride for J-Bone. He's gonna come out in the back of the ambulance. We're not gonna let him out during the match.
Well, I accept your offer, but just know that I no longer fight. My boxing days have ended by 20 years now at this point.
Uh-oh.
So it's official, a smoke off, Max. So I hope you're prepared for that.
So the ambulance is going to wait. So let me get this straight. The ambulance will be at ringside, but I'll be in the background.
Yes.
Well, hold on, J-Bone. If this is a smoke off, we might have to let you out of the ambulance and put Max in there because he won't be able to walk.
Doctor, did you give that man his meds yet?
Speaking of the Baron, let us introduce the man. By the way, Max, we have your from the desk of Max Magus later on in the program. Now let's get back into it. The man that is higher than a 747 jet airliner, our resident happy guy, and whose catchphrase is and will always be, sir, please, the real phrase.
$9.99.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, golfers clap for the one and only Baron. We have your buzzkill moment coming up soon, sir. How are you, man?
Good, man. Good.
Even though you failed your fucking assignment.
I think I've failed it every single assignment. It never goes well for me. I'm happy to be here, man. There's a lot to talk about. We're coming up to the biggest and best time of wrestling. That's Wrestlemania.
Oh, baby.
So, yeah, dude, I'm here to ramble, and I've missed everybody, especially my number one fans out there.
Oh, yeah.
Listen,
yeah.
He may have failed the assignment, but he also failed the surprise random test, which brings me to my next question. Baron, what time is it in your world?
4:20.
4:20.
It's 4:20.
It must be.
Falls on that day this year.
It must be 4:20.
Well, it's weird. So you guys all know the industry I work in.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to go further. So it's weird because Easter falls on that day, and like it's the biggest day for that, and then there's WrestleMania.
Man, those Easter eggs are going to be late this year.
They're not showing up because if they're the dyed ones, they're getting eaten.
Think of all the eggs and the ham and everything that's going to be eaten on this Easter. Think about it. I mean, tons of fucking hams are just going to be consumed because everybody's fucking stoned out of their ass and they're like, I'm hungry.
Speaking of hams, I'm hoping Nikita shows up at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Who?
Hold on. Baron, please educate your old friend.
I'm off the clock. Well, Make-A-Wish is over for me. No.
Wow.
Did you say Nikita?
Yeah, she's smuggling to. Never mind.
All right. Let's introduce this guy down here. Finally, the producer of our show, the man, the myth, the absolute legend, for without his tech wizardry and the gizmos that he brings to his show, plus his vast wrestling knowledge, even though he's getting older, he still has it. It's still there. And his missus, of course, so kind to gift us his time to do this show, for without him, he wouldn't be here today. We wouldn't be here today. And by the way, Mrs. J-Bone, I think you still have that chair for Max and I. We're waiting. It's been a while. Damn. Yeah, no shit. Time. Come on.
I think my watch broke.
I think mine did. Mine's digital, so it might not have. I don't know.
Mine's analog.
Oh, yeah. It's analog. Yeah. I see why it's analog.
It's a John Cena watch.
The host of Smash This Podcast and Total Nonstop Impact with the latest TNA reviews on YouTube over any other podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the great and infamous J-Bone. Golfers clap, sir. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I was a little worried I wouldn't be making the show tonight. I was in a lot of pain the last several days, but I'm here. I went to the old doctor, and that old witch doctor gave me some.
Did they give you some news? Did they say you got a bad case for loving him?
No, actually, it's a witch doctor. They told me what to do. No, I actually they didn't find anything, so that was actually some good news. Because I didn't know what I went in because my left hip was killing me. I mean, it was killing me to the point that I couldn't walk anymore. I almost had to leave work the other night. It was that bad. So I'm like, this is getting ridiculous. I gotta get this checked out. I mean, I know I'm a couple sizes too big, but so I got it checked out. X-ray, fine. CT scan, fine. They wrapped something around my head and it took some to check the numbers or something that they found absolutely nothing up here. I didn't understand why they did that, but anyways.
I think you want to have them go ahead and try that test again on you. No.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
All loved you.
Do you know what the definition of insanity is? Performing the same action over and over and expecting a different result. It would be insane to do that measurement again.
It's just it's so full of knowledge and greatness up here. No, but seriously, so what they did was they prescribed me some steroids, and honestly, my hips have never felt better in the last several months. So,
did they give you a walker?
No, I'm walking A-okay. I walked.
The stranger was there.
I what? Dr. Shrink.
Man. You know how cool J-Bone would be if he had a walker and put those little tennis balls at the end so that he could just slide around on the floor, man?
Yeah, but then he'd be jealous that his walker has bigger balls than him.
This is true. This is true.
Who's got big balls? My walker has big balls.
But at least my balls aren't big, green, and fuzzy. That means you got a problem.
Oh, boy. All right. Well, J-Bone, we got some TNA to talk later on. And what a week it's been for pro wrestling. We have a new triple threat to look for.
Excuse me, sir. My best friend is getting ahead of the game again.
You got to go ahead and just dive into it. You can't
listen. This is my best friend, but every week he tries to do this, and I'm going to tell you why when I get to his introduction. But first, I need to introduce the fifth member of Ramblers Unleashed. Without you guys, we'd be four guys just sitting here talking to each other and having J-Bone go, "What? Can you speak up?" Ladies and gentlemen, the fifth member of Ramblers Unleashed, you, our viewing audience, thank you. Big round of applause for them. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce the man that brings us together every week. A man so humble, that's why he tries to skip this part of the show. He's humble, he's modest, he doesn't want all this fanfare. Ladies and gentlemen, the man that has a voice for podcasting, the man that puts all the stories together, the man without whom we would not be Ramblers. We would be on equally fun shows, but we wouldn't have an identity. Shows like Smash This Podcast and Destroying. Yeah, that one's not as fun. We won't mention it tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, my best friend, Dizzy. Give him a round of applause.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll say this: if you were actually on my show, you wouldn't be talking half as much. But anyways, we continue.
Well, thank you, Max. That always brings a smile to my face. Thank you. I appreciate that. And next week, just jump on in and say bye. Don't let let's not let Dizzy just go and do his thing until this is done.
The modesty on this, man. You've got to respect it.
I'm just me, man. I'm just trying to give everybody a good show, and I know you guys are too, and that's what I appreciate about you guys. And this show is huge. This is a big, big show because we are on the road to WrestleMania. It's been a hell of a week for pro wrestling. We have a new triple threat to look forward to between Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, and Bianca Belair. And, of course, the triple threat between Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and CM Punk intensifies. Who's out for the foreseeable future due to an injury? Boys, we have a lot to discuss tonight, so let's get into it, and we'll start with WWE news, and this is the question of the day. Miro.
This is the question right here. This is who is not modest? It's me, and I say you get nothing.
Thank you.
Grandpa, please take your medication. We have a show to do.
I did.
Miro
good.
Miro is officially back in the WWE system after months of speculation. PW Insider confirmed that Miro, formerly known as Rusev, has re-signed with the WWE. The former U.S. champ was spotted at WWE headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut, where he reportedly spent most of the day. Now, multiple sources confirm Miro's presence at the facility with strong indications that the visit was tied to setting up his return to WWE programming. Now, while no date has been set for his on-screen return, this makes it clear that WWE has pretty serious plans for the Bulgarian brute. Now, CJ Perry, known to us as Lana, was notably not present during the visit, which already has fans questioning whether Miro is going back to just being single or if a reunion with his real-life wife is still on the table. The update comes after earlier reports stated that WWE had interest in bringing Miro back, although no deal had been finalized at the time. Now it's official. He's signed, he's sealed, and he's ready for his next chapter. Maybe he could feud with Braun Breaker. That would be awesome. Possibly Gunther. Here's a question of the day that I want to hear from our fans. And sound off in the chat. Who do you want to see Rusev feud with first? We're going to start with Max. Who do you want to see Rusev go head-to-head with first?
Oh, that is a loaded question.
It is.
There's some great possibilities because we do have some new people in WWE, but do we really want to go that route? You mentioned a couple of great names. You talked about Gunther and you talked about Braun Breaker. Mm-hmm. And you know what? Either one of those would be great. And actually, I think Rusev, because it's Rusev Day. I don't care what anybody else says. I'm on the same page as Miro over here. It is Rusev Day. I think that Rusev and Gunther would have a great program. And you don't even have to have the title involved. Those two, with what they do in that ring, it would just be a lot of fun to watch. I don't need the promos. Just give me the matches because that's what I want to see.
Well, that's easy because, it's the title's not going to be involved because we all know that Jey Uso is going to beat the living yeet out of Gunther at Mania. So I'm just saying.
Maybe.
Baron, what's
oh, damn.
What say you, man?
I haven't really thought about it, but also, happy Rusev Day, everyone.
Yes.
We didn't say that. But happy Rusev Day. Oh man, you gotta love my opinion sometimes, but I'm not interested in any way, shape, nor form of him returning.
Wow.
I want great things for him. Don't get me wrong. I don't see any potential value of him being back into WWE at all. Actually, I think that's a terrible mistake. But nonetheless, there's plenty of other promotions out there.
Would it help in any way if I told you that there are no plans for Lana to return?
That helps the case. Yeah, that helps the case actually a lot more than before because that is even more like, but I want him to do great things, and I think he could take whatever he grabbed from AEW and bring back over to WWE that he got during that period of time. I do think he's changed a lot. I was never fully invested with Rusev. I feel like he's that character in WWE that we have so many big guys like him that he just kind of will get lost in the shuffle because, for one, I don't think he has a problem with whatsoever. So, like I feel like like a Braun Breaker would be a good match.
Yeah. Kind of what Courtney said. Rusev versus Braun Breaker, or maybe Jacob Fatu. That would be a good. That would really be a good. God.
Yeah, but I think where I'm coming from here though is Braun Breaker and Fatu Jacob are probably 2 to 3 steps ahead of what Rusev is. So I just don't see him meshing well in that current roster. And I don't think we have to bring back every single person that we need to. But I do hope the best for him, and I hope he proves me wrong. But yeah, happy Rusev Day.
Yeah, happy Rusev Day. J-Bone, who do you think, man?
I'm gonna throw out a name of LA Knight. I think LA Knight would be a really good one. As far as the CJ Perry, Lana, whatever you want to call her, I'm kind of wondering because she was really sick for a while, wasn't she? Didn't she have that horrible infection in her hand that landed her in the hospital or something?
Yeah, she did.
I think so.
So I'm kind of wondering, like, if she ever like fully recovered from that, how healthy she is, I mean, I know they were trying to get her in ring ready, but I think she was always a better valet than a wrestler. I think they destroyed her wrestling career, and I don't blame WWE in general. I blame specific people that were in charge back then, namely, he's not even there anymore. So yeah.
Yeah, I see where you're going with that. I think he had a lot to do with character developments that didn't go anywhere. I think Vince had a lot to do with that. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Rusev. And yes, happy Rusev Day. Styles actually made a pretty cool comment here.
Ooh.
He says Randy Orton now has a new opponent for WrestleMania. The rumor mill is that Iron Mike Tyson is going to appear for the match, show off his ass, and take an RKO immediately. Thank you, Mac.
I just want to say you're welcome. I booked that only for you, Styles.
Just for you, buddy.
I think Bell's Boy comment kind of nails it for the point that I was trying to make as well.
Yeah, he says Rusev or Andrade doing much in the WWE. I'm sorry, I don't see their time was done. They're just trying to regain pride since their AEW experience was mud.
I think Andrade's doing a lot better than Charlotte right now. Charlotte Flair just shows up in lingerie, has a dumbass smile on her face, and makes stupid behind the scenes jokes and gets cut off.
Yeah.
You want to talk about embarrassing?
That
promo that they were cutting on back and forth. I know there was some heat and there was some controversy. In my professional podcasting opinion, Tiffany Stratton wiped the floor with Charlotte Flair. So, if
you don't know what he's talking about, Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton had a big promo on SmackDown, and it was deemed as a wreck backstage because there was I think they actually have heat, and it's just you go to ringsidenews.com and look it up yourself because it involves Ludwig Kaiser, and it's just a lot. I was thinking about maybe putting it into our stories, but it just didn't make it because we have so much other stuff to talk about. Like this, the March 31st, 2025 episode of Raw delivered another strong week on Netflix despite a rare afternoon airtime due to its London, England broadcast. So according to Tudum, I believe that's how it's pronounced, Raw garnered Raw garnered 2.9 million global views. That landed them on the number 8 position on Netflix's global top 10 for the week and ranking in the top 10 in 8 countries, while the total viewership numbers dipped slightly from the March 24th episode. It scored 3 million views, by the way. The performance remains impressive given the unusual 3 p.m. Eastern live broadcast slot, which deviated from Raw's regular primetime placement. Now, despite the minor dip, Raw's international episode still pulled in pretty strong numbers, confirming its global fan base remaining loyal and engaged. I watched it at work, even during the time slot changes. Don't tell my employer, but yeah, it's just interesting how the fans are watching this on Netflix compared to how we used to watch it on USA. Here's another interesting story. WWE has quietly confirmed that the 2025 Hall of Fame class is officially locked in, and one name fans hoped to see did not make the cut. And the company has now started rolling out the Hall of Fame merchandise featuring the finalized list of this year's inductees. The move signals that the class is set in stone and no more additions are coming. And that means fans expecting a last-minute surprise induction for the late wrestling legend Kamala will have to wait a little longer. Despite being a longtime fan favorite and a staple in WWE's golden era, Kamala, whose real name was James Harris, he's not part of the 2025 class. Now, many in the wrestling community have campaigned for years to see the Ugandan giant honored, and some believed this year would finally be the one, but so far that hasn't happened. There is hope for the future, though, according to sources close to the situation via WrestleVotes. Quote, conversations between his family and WWE are ongoing, end quote. WWE recently signed a Legends contract on Kamala's behalf, which could open the door for a potential induction down the line. But we were talking about this in the chat on Facebook. We haven't seen a Legends induction yet into the Hall of Fame. So what legends could we see, or would we be able to see? I just, I'll say this. I wish that the hatchet would be buried between Owen Hart and WWE, the Hart family and World Wrestling Entertainment, because
it's not the Hart family, it's just Martha.
Yeah, I know. I know. I just wish Martha would stop being so petty and stop working with AEW. His legacy does not belong in AEW. His name doesn't belong in AEW.
I mean, it's fine that AEW honors him. There's nothing wrong with that. But I mean, it's important because it's important for WWE to honor him. And I think the fact that Vinnie Mac is finally gone from the company is going to help the situation. When you have people like maybe Triple H or Shawn Michaels, someone like Shawn Michaels extending the proverbial olive branch, of peace out to Martha, might help. So who knows?
And I go ahead, Baron.
No, I agree exactly what J-Bone said. I think, changing of ownership, I won't say ownership, but, just not having that certain individual within the company that might change your name. It's great that he's recognized in AEW. However, that is a dirty thing that they did, because it wasn't truly anything promoting his true legacy, because he has no ties with AEW. That was just pure bullshit. It's pure publicity bullshit.
It was a smack in the face to WWE, like, haha, here's a promotion. I'm going to go honor my husband's name here, even though it doesn't belong here,
Yeah, and it goes both ways, from the company as well as her, like it wasn't... It had nothing to do with Owen Hart, and that's what hurt very bad, and I have very sour taste in my mouth because of that.
And AEW Tony Khan's like, haha, we got the Owen Hart name. Well, fuck you, TK.
It wasn't anything about showing that legacy, but
we got a tournament too. Yeah, it involves the men and the women.
we got a trophy. Yeah,
and he definitely needs to be inducted into WWE Hall of Fame.
It's interesting that we've only been seeing, just like what Mir said, we've only been seeing videos of Triple H and his career but we really haven't seen anything else from natural disasters. We haven't seen much from Lex Luger. We haven't even seen much from Michelle McCool is going into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
We haven't seen much of them. So what the fuck's up with that, Max?
Well, first off, let me say I really thought that article was going to say Bray Wyatt. Because we were expecting his induction last year. It didn't happen, so we thought it'd be this year. I don't know when that's going to happen now. I'm starting to get a little concerned because it doesn't look like it's going to be next year from the rumors I'm hearing on who they're talking about for next year. But honestly, I think WWE's trying to cut down on the time. First off, that's why we have so few inductions this year compared to a normal year. And I think the reason we're not really seeing so many packages for everybody else is because Triple H, while he is head of creative and he has all the power in the world, there are people that can overrule him. And one of them is the final boss. And the other one is the boss of Triple H. And that's his own fault for choosing to marry her years ago. He granted her that authority over him. And I think that those two got into the ear of TKO. And that's why all we're seeing is Triple H stuff. We know that they're the reason that he's getting the induction this year. So they may have gone to the powers that be and said, this is what we need to have on TV for this. And maybe that's why we're not getting the legends and stuff like that, the legacy class, is because, the powers that be above Trips want to focus on him.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take a different approach to this. I mean, like, there's definitely a lot of deserving people to go in the Hall of Fame. Just wrestling, baseball, any sport that we could think of, there's people that are not there. However, with this one, like, I get where people are kind of like put off because Triple H we're a point of authority and he's going in the Hall of Fame. If we take that point of authority out of the equation, this man deserves to be in his own rightful way of being in the Hall of Fame, headlining the Hall of Fame, because it's Triple H. He's, he there's a lot of mixed opinions on Triple H, but he did carry that company for a very, very long time. Well, so I'm happy for that with them. Do I want to see other people in there? Absolutely. But we're forgetting one big thing with the Hall of Fame. We're not just getting Triple H as a big name. We're not just getting like natural disaster, but we're also getting like Stone Cold and Bret Hart. I assume those two have to be at that for the inductory for that match.
Oh, that's right. That I forget what they're calling it. The
Hall of Fame match, I guess. I don't know what they're calling it. I forgot too. But I assume they have to be there for that event. So that's a big
match or a moment or something. Yeah.
No, it's a match. They're inducting a match now, not a moment. It's an entire match. Okay. So that is cool. I do appreciate that, and I think that's where they're shaving some of that time down to have those two on the show for that. So if that's the case, that's awesome. If not, then I might have to change my opinion on that. But I think that is cool. We have Stone Cold possibly and Bret Hart being there. Which is just
haven't
good.
Haven't they been showing like I know like promos on the show itself are important, and I get that, but aren't they loading up YouTube with a ton of stuff lately?
They are. They matter of fact, I just Googled it. They do have the promo for Bret Hart versus Steve Austin for the WWE Hall of Fame Immortal moment. They have Triple H with the Evolution. They're loading up a bunch of stuff, but they're just focusing on Triple H on TV. It seems,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's off-putting, I guess, but I'm happy for him. I think we, as diehard wrestling fans, truly appreciate it, but we also have to remember we're a very small percentage of people that watch wrestling.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people, unfortunately, watch the Hall of Fame, so it's not, I don't think there's a large interest in that.
And Bell's boy, I think Tony Hinchcliffe, which he's going to be later on in the show. He's doing the roast of WrestleMania. He's not actually He's not actually hosting the Hall
The
of Fame,
hosts,
but
the
he's
hosts for the Hall of Fame are Shut Up Cole and Let's Go McAfee.
Let's move on. Another familiar face is officially back under the WWE umbrella, at least on paper, because according to Fightful Select, multiple sources within and close to WWE has confirmed that former Divas champion Kelly has signed a WWE Legends deal. The agreement brings her back into the fold with WWE in an official capacity, even if she's not returning to in-ring action. Kelly, her real name is Barbie Blank. She hasn't laced up her boots in WWE since the 2022 Royal Rumble, where she made a surprise appearance. She also returned briefly in Battle Royals in 2019 and 2020, and once picked up a surprise win when she captured the 24/7 title during a special guest spot on Raw. But for the most part, she's stayed away from the squared circle. Her journey in the company started back in 2006. She debuted on ECW as the youngest female performer on the roster. She was known for her signature expose segments and the eye-catching charisma. She became a regular presence. Yeah, for that too. She became a regular presence across all WWE programming. She eventually captured the Divas Championship in 2011. That was her only title reign, but it solidified her as one of the most recognizable women in the division during the PG era. So, really, I'm kind of excited. She's hot. You know, I'm just gonna
Hey,
say
you know
it.
what else that means? That means we're finally gonna get that Kelly action figure.
Yeah, there you go. You can add that to the collection there, J-Bone.
Does it actually finish the exhibition show, or is it going to be interrupted just like her exhibition was?
I don't know. That'll be interesting.
You can
I
like
got it,
open up
Max.
the
I got it.
you can like open up the package, but there's like a big black thing over it.
Bastards.
Some heartbreaking news here, guys. Kevin Owens, he had an emotional announcement on SmackDown that left fans heartbroken, and yet a wave of online speculation quickly followed. So some fans on social media began questioning whether his neck injury was part of a WrestleMania storyline or something bigger. It's not. The injury is legitimate, and he will undergo surgery, and the locker room is said to be genuinely upset over the situation. So it's not a working angle, and this isn't leading to a surprise return or twist at WrestleMania. And everyone backstage is treating the situation as serious as it should be. And the emotion on SmackDown wasn't acting, it was reality. Really sad to hear this, J-Bone, because KO has actually made it to Mania 8 times, but we haven't seen him face off against Randy Orton, which would have been a great match.
Oh man, yeah, a lot of people were looking forward to that. It sucks, man. And I think people forget how long KO's been doing this. He said in the promo when he came out, he's like, "I've been doing this for 25 years," and it's like, holy crap. Ring of Honor, WWE, independence all over the world. Man,
Yeah.
he's all we can do is hope that whatever is ailing him neck wise, that he has a successful surgery and that he can hopefully return. I mean, we've seen a lot of returns. Edge came back, Christian came. Well, no, Christian was more
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm trying to think of people that had neck surgery. Kurt Angle, John Cena.
Didn't Stone Cold have neck surgery?
Oh yeah.
Stone Cold that he took from The Undertaker.
Oh yeah. No, he got pile drive from Owen.
It was a sit-out pile driver from Owen.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. I thought it was something with The Undertaker. No, yeah. But no, neck injuries are serious business.
Yeah.
You definitely don't want to mess around with that. So we definitely wish speedy recovery to Kevin Owens, and we hope to see you return.
I want to in that same conversation just to piggyback off of that, because we saw Randy Orton come out and he and KO exchanged some glances, and KO just kind of walked back up the aisle, and just, man, it's just shitty because like I said, I think a lot of people were looking forward to this.
Mm-hmm.
So that bears a question, guys. Randy Orton.
I was going to ask the same thing, J-Bone, so I'm glad you're doing it.
Randy Orton, out of frustration, gave an RKO to the SmackDown GM,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he already paid the fine for that.
Nick Aldis. Well, yeah, I'm sure there's a fine attached to that, but
No,
does
he already
that?
paid it.
But does that mean? I mean, we don't have a lot of time left. So if they're gonna, if they're gonna do something, they're gonna have to announce something this week, and that's about it.
Are
They
you
don't have a lot of time to.
are you speculating that Nick Aldis and Randy Orton could go to WrestleMania?
They could.
No.
Well, Nick Aldis is a decent wrestler.
Yeah, but no, I don't see that happening. What's the feud? Why? Because why?
Well, here's what I think will happen. I think Nick Aldis, because of this, will reach out to. No, I'm not saying he's going to have a match with Randy Orton. Randy Orton's going to have a match at Mania. I mean, he just came back. He has to. Randy Orton's Randy Orton. He's going to have that match. So who better than Sami Zayn?
I think that'd be good.
Sami Zayn doesn't have anything going for him.
You're kind of honoring. Sam. That's assuming Sami Zayn is okay, because wasn't he written off TV?
Or yeah, but I haven't heard any reason. Yeah, I think exactly that. I don't think there was any reason. I don't think he had any surgery from what I.
No, the beating that he took at the hands of Kevin Owens was so brutal that it wrote him off TV. I don't think he has any kind of legit injury, but the storyline injury may have him out for a little longer.
Yeah, and I think this would be a perfect time. We all know Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are besties, and the ride till they die, whether they're fighting or not. So for someone to come and take the honor of Kevin Owens, who's better than Sami Zayn, and I think that will just be equally as a good match. I am never disappointed in anything Sami Zayn does. So I think that'll be great, because Randy Orton's going to have a match at Mania. They're not going to write him off like that. So maybe a call from Nick Aldis will get Zayn back.
Yeah. Couple things. First off, I see Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce fighting against each other before I see Nick Aldis stepping in there with someone like Orton or something like that. Because when they first started this, they gave those two kind of some heat and some banter between each other, like it was going to lead to a match, and then suddenly that kind of tapered off. As far as the fine goes, that I keep pointing out that Orton has already paid, I don't know if you remember, but he RKO'd Aldis once before, and the fine was $50,000. Randy Orton walked into Aldis's office, handed him a check. And Nick Aldis looked at it and said, "Randy, the fine's $50,000. This check's for $100,000." And Randy Orton said, "Yeah, that's for next time." Mm-hmm. That's storytelling. He finally collected on that $100,000 payment.
Oh, I totally forgot about that. Thank you. Wow.
And the funny thing is, I even sent you guys the meme the other day showing that, and the old man still forgot.
Well,
that's because I don't jump in like every 2 seconds. Something pops in the chat. Sometimes I'll miss a day or two.
Well, let's
in general. All right. So let me ask you guys real quick. And let me ask our audience, because that's what's most important here. If Randy Orton is to have a match, who do you want to see him wrestle at WrestleMania? Do you want to see him wrestle Sami Zayn, or do you want to see someone else? Put it in the chat. My first thought is Sami Zayn is fine and all, but if you're still gonna sell the story, maybe have it be like an open challenge, and maybe that could be the return of Rusev or something. I don't know, just a thought.
It could be. I don't know if Rusev is ready. I don't. To go out to something like WrestleMania, I don't know if he's ready yet.
Rusev is his wrestler. He has all the God-given talents. He is always ready.
I mean, he
I'm
and
trying to think of his promos from AEW.
Orton and Rusev did have a feud in 2017.
They did or they didn't?
They did.
Oh, they did.
I believe they did.
Yeah.
Who
Because they
remembers
faced
that?
off at Hell in a Cell. They faced off at SummerSlam that year.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, shit.
I mean,
But Max, do you think he'd be ready?
oh, every day is Rusev Day. Rusev is always ready.
Hell yeah.
Well, I mean, we'll have to see. I don't know. I don't know who they could at this short of notice. I don't know who they could put up against Randy Orton because I mean, it would have to be like I don't know.
Oh.
One more J-Bone, then we got to move on.
Aleister Black.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm thinking that Alistair has to go to Raw because of the Dark Teachings bit that led to Grande Americano.
Yeah.
But, I mean, anything could happen. We'll find out. And don't forget to hit the merch store down below this video.
Yeah. And don't forget to hit the like button, the subscribe button if you're new here. Thanks for watching. And once you do one or both of those things, that tells YouTube you like what we're doing and suggests our videos to more people. All right. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we move on because it is time to go and share. Yes. And it is time to go from the desk of Max Mages. Boy, this is a hell of a story we got for you, Max. So buckle up, okay? All right, here we go. WWE, Vince McMahon, Linda McMahon, and TKO Group Holdings Incorporated have been dealing with new legal challenges due to a lawsuit filed on October 23rd of last year. The lawsuit accuses them of negligence regarding their response to the sexual abuse of underage boys by former WWE employee Mel Phillips in the Ring Boy scandal. Now, after months of delay, it now appears that all parties involved have asked a federal court in Maryland to throw out the lawsuit. According to PW Insider, so take this for a grain of salt, Vince McMahon's lawyers say the court in Maryland has no right to judge the case because McMahon never lived in Maryland. His legal filing says, quote, as a non-resident who is not domiciled in Maryland, there is no general personal jurisdiction over McMahon, end quote. They argue that the plaintiffs didn't show any proof that McMahon did anything wrong in Maryland. He also says the lawsuit doesn't clearly show he did anything that would make him personally responsible. The filing also says only one of the former Ring Boys even claims to have met McMahon, and that meeting didn't happen in Maryland. Now, McMahon also argues that he had no way of knowing Phillips was in danger. And I quote, plaintiffs do not sufficiently allege that McMahon had knowledge, constructive or otherwise, that Mel Phillips posed a danger, end quote. The lawsuit refers to, quote, negative press, unfounded opinions, speculation, and multi-level hearsay from a hodgepodge of characters, many whom are deceased, end quote. But McMahon says that there's not enough to prove anything. He also says that the plaintiffs are relying too much on old stories and rumors rather than solid facts, stating, quote, to the extent that a limited number of allegations arguably imply such knowledge, they lack the factual support, plausibility, consistency, and definitiveness required to state a claim, end quote. Now, the WWE and TKO also made it clear that they want the case dismissed. Their filing says, quote, neither WWE nor TKO is subject to personal jurisdiction in Maryland, and plaintiffs have failed to adequately plead a negligence claim, end quote. They state the plaintiffs are claiming Phillips abused them after asking them to help out at wrestling events, including some in Maryland. However, WWE and TKO argue that there's no proof they knew that Phillips was a threat or that they had legal duty to protect the boys, saying, quote, plaintiffs do not properly allege the existence of any legally cognizable duty, end quote. Now, they say the abuse happened when WWF still existed, but WWF doesn't exist anymore. The current companies are indifferent, and the plaintiffs didn't give any good reason why today's companies should be responsible for what happened back then. It was added that neither WWE nor TKO is based in Maryland, and the plaintiffs didn't prove that the companies did business there in any way that would allow the court to take the case. Now, WWE and TKO argue that the plaintiffs didn't show enough facts to prove they were negligent, especially since most of the claims are about things that happened after the abuse allegedly took place. The lawsuit claims that some told McMahon that Phillips was seen in a car performing a sexual act on a young boy, but McMahon's lawyers say the plaintiffs don't have firsthand knowledge of that. The claim is based on what two wrestlers who are now deceased allegedly said in 1992, and they didn't even witness it directly. Now, there is so much more to this lawsuit. You can find all that information at ringsidenews.com. But this is, honestly, Max, this is really bad news to hear because in the end, man, the victims lose.
I mean, technically the victims lost in 2012 when Mel passed away, because there was going to be no justice at that point because he died of old age. But I'm not. This next question is going to sound wrong, and I don't mean it to. But if the allegations had already come out in the 90s, as I'm seeing over here, because what I did while you were reading was I Googled why Melvin left the WWE in the first place, and it just popped up all the stories about what happened. But if they were accused in 92, why was the lawsuit just filed last year? The allegations came out more than 30 years ago, and we just got a lawsuit on it. I don't understand the timing, and especially because, and listen, you're my best friend. You know I got nothing but love for you, but you're an asshole for what you're about to make me do. If they cannot prove that Vince McMahon had any knowledge of what Mel Phillips was doing, then he should not be getting sued. We know Vince McMahon is despicable. Is it likely, based on the stuff that he has done, that he probably had knowledge? Sure, it's possible. But so far, I've heard no evidence that he had any knowledge, that he was allowing it, that he was letting it happen. Do I, in my opinion, believe that he probably was? Yes, I do. But that's my opinion. My opinion does not control the law. The law is based on evidence. And while there is evidence that Vince McMahon is a despicable human being who crossed the line in multiple instances, so far I see no evidence that he had knowledge of what was going on in this situation. I am the kind of person that I will tell you, I will call you out if you do something shitty. But if there is no evidence that you did something shitty, I'm going to say, wait, there's no evidence. We can't. I believe the victims. Don't get me wrong. That's not what this is. I believe Mel Phillips was a really bad man, and I believe he did some really disgusting things with those ring boys. But I don't know that Vince had the knowledge. I'm not seeing any evidence. I'm not seeing any information coming in that shows that he did have that knowledge. I believe he did, but I don't see the evidence of it. That's what I'm saying.
And, the law is such a fickle thing, man. I mean,
yeah, we're going down a very bad path on this. But to be fair, you're an owner of a company. You know what's transpiring in your company. Every single owner does. Every single human being that owns a company, they know. I mean, so it's impossible for them not to know. Let's cut to the chase here. Like that, they know, because that could revolve around lawsuits back in that time. Whether something happened in 1992 or 2002, or whatever the case may be, when a victim speaks out of that, we take that and we try to resolve that situation. I'm sure my verbiage is not coming out properly with this, but what I'm trying to get at is
No, it's fine.
no. I get where you're coming from, but when lawsuits happen, you get stories, right? You get stories, and then you get more victims to come out because we don't do that shaming of victims because like it takes time and everybody progresses things differently as human beings. So we want to be cautious on this. The big thing I take away from this entire situation here is that Linda McMahon's name has been introduced into this. She has no idea what is probably transpiring by all. But the problem being is, not to get too crazy with this. She is now in a very high authority within a political system. So, when it comes to these type of situations, we're trying to dismiss things that we should not be dismissing. And that's what's transpiring here. That has nothing to do with anything else other than we're trying to dismiss certain things. I'm always going to, go with our victims over a corporate billionaire every single day of the week. And I will listen to that story until we have evidence that proves us otherwise.
And I personally believe that the only reason that Linda McMahon's name is thrown into this is because of her last name and who she is married to. I don't think it has anything to do with anything else but the fact that she is married to Vince McMahon, and this happened on his watch.
Why would she be bench? I mean, he cheated on her hundreds of times. Other than it's
because
there's a little political game.
Well, here. Because it throws another high prolific name into this lawsuit.
Well, she had a high position in the company.
She did, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
I don't know how high and for how long, but I know that she was like back as far as I can remember, she was the CEO or whatever, something. She wasn't the president, but she was like the owner.
I don't remember what she was. Yeah,
owner and former CEO of WWE.
Was this during a period of time while Vince McMahon was being sued for other lawsuits?
Possibly.
No, this is when he was like on TV.
Yeah, this is when.
Hey, and not to like stir up anything. I just think there's a lot of other things that we're not taking into consideration with this. Clearly we all know about the Ring Boy situation because we've heard about it for the last 30 years at this point.
Well,
and it's despicable. The owner of a company, no matter what, has to know about every single thing on earth. So I imagine he knows. I think hopefully, it doesn't get dismissed because that's very wrong for the victims of the family.
Yeah.
Max.
A couple things. I believe that it was during the steroid scandal that Vince signed the company over to her, making her the CEO.
Yeah, exactly.
Secondly, I just want to clarify something I said. I'm not shaming anybody for the fact that it took 30 years to get the lawsuit filed. I was legitimately expressing confusion where if you already have allegations, how come it took them 30 years to put the case together enough to file a lawsuit? I'm confused. I'm not shaming anybody. I
totally understand what you're saying, Max.
I want to make sure that the viewers didn't misunderstand me. It's all confusion. That's all it is. Right. And there's one last point I want to make. As I was Googling all this, Bret Hart actually came out at one point and stated that Melvin Phillips was, what did he say? It says Mel Phillips was a total pedophile and there was a lot of turning a blind eye. So even Bret Hart is saying that he believes that Vince knew. That's how I read that. And Terry Garvin was also involved in that with Mel Phillips, from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, there's a lot of sticky.
Huh?
Is Terry? I know the name Garvin. Is that
Terry Garvin?
Is that a wrestler or
Canadian professional wrestler?
Yeah,
better known by his Terrence P. Joyle, better known by his ring name of Terry Garvin, was a Canadian professional wrestler. He is best known for his work with kayfabe brother Ron Garvin, with whom he won several tag team champions in the Southern United States.
Oh, I was gonna say, I remember Ron Garvin. He had like the blonde spike hair. I don't remember Terry.
And not that it matters, but he is, homosexual. So,
but to be fair, this is another one of those where the victims lost out on justice because Terry actually passed away in 1998, so he didn't face justice for his crimes either.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, fuck, dude. There's so fucking much bullshit happening behind WWE for years, and it's disgusting. I just fucking hate it for all the victims, and I hope everyone gets justice in this, and I hope it doesn't get pushed under the rug because none of us, all four of us, we all have talked about it since we came back on air for
absolutely
for a long time. So we, fans, please know that we want justice for all these victims because we know how shady this.
There's just so much. I mean, that's why I really, really like Dark Side of the Ring, is because they bring light to a lot of the darkness that was in professional wrestling that we didn't know about. Oh, yeah. And some of the stuff that we do know about, we're trying to learn as we go. And hopefully they bring this up at some point. I would assume after the lawsuit is all done and said and done and all that, they'll bring it up in an episode because I'm really interested in what their point of view would be with everybody that was involved. But it's a really touchy subject. But as I said, when the whole Janelle Grant thing and this whole Ring Boy thing, we were going to cover it, and that's why I brought it up to Max from the desk of Max Mages, because it is a serious situation. And
listen, if you can find evidence that he knew and covered it up, put his ass in jail. I'm all for that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
But let's lighten things up just a little bit and go to Baron's buzzkill moment. And Baron, this involves Tony Hinchcliffe and the debut of his Raw commentary. And that has been slammed by fans online. Now it was perceived backstage too. We know how it was perceived backstage. So according to Fightful Select, people within WWE really weren't impressed with Tony Hinchcliffe either. The comedian joined the April 7th edition of Raw to call the tag team title match, but his attempt at bringing humor to the broadcast fell flat in a major way. Fans immediately lit up social media, of course, calling the segment cringe and unwatchable, even some questioning Triple H's leadership for allowing it to happen.
Oh, for crying out loud.
Now the internal reaction has come to light. Quote, those we spoke with backstage in WWE admitted the Tony Hinchcliffe spot came across as a dud, Fightful Select reported. Now, while Hinchcliffe may have tried to bring his brand of comedy to the table, it clearly didn't land with anyone watching, either in the arena or backstage. Now, despite the poor response, Hinchcliffe reportedly, quote, was very respectful at the showing, quote, with some sources noting, though, that hasn't been enough to soften the backlash from the fans. One particularly tone-deaf moment came when Hinchcliffe made a controversial joke referencing Big E's real-life neck injury, a line that upset fans and even caught Big E's attention too. The former WWE champ really didn't go publicly to go scorched earth on Tony, but the message was clear. He was not amused. Social media didn't hold back either. One fan wrote, quote, not a single person wants to hear Tony Hinchcliffe on commentary. Get this fucking dork out of here, end quote. Another said, this Tony Hinchcliffe guy is not funny and ruined Raw. Others
he said what, 3 words? I mean, come on.
No, he said more than 3 words. Others,
I'm just saying. It's like because I don't even remember. Like I thought he had like 2 lines before you knew it. He was gone.
He said a lot more. Others echoed the same sentiment with comments like "fuck off, Tony Hinchcliffe," and "I speak for everyone when I say I never give this guy a headset again." To make things worse, WWE is still planning to use Hinchcliffe for the roast of WrestleMania after night 2 of Mania 41. Based on the current reaction, that might be a bit of a tough sell for fans who already feel like they didn't sign up for this version of Raw. Now, backstage sources say he was polite and professional, but even WWE insiders are admitting that this one just didn't work. Now, Baron, do we think that it's time we stop having these guest commentators on Raw?
No, I think you bring on all the guest commentators you want on Raw and SmackDown and NXT. Bring them on. But make sure they're worth a fuck. Because Tony, however, my friend, is not funny, nor has he ever been funny. His show that he normally does, which I watch quite frequently, and fans, let me tell you, I love comedy and I watch all comedy. And when it comes to comedy, it doesn't matter what people say. A lot of times it could be off color, it could be raunchy, but that's comedy. However, this guy is not funny at all, has never been funny. He doesn't, no, he's not funny actually at all. Like in all seriousness, I'm trying to remember his show because I watch it on YouTube all the time.
It's the comedy show that he's got.
Yeah, what the hell's the name of it?
It's Tony Kills.
Tony Kills, yes, thank you. I watch this quite frequently, actually. I watch it on a weekly basis. The show is great. Usually his commentary is kind of just like, whatever. It's
I think the people that he surrounds himself on the show is what really makes the show entertaining.
Good. Yeah. No, I do like Tony Kill. I watch it and
I think and I've watched it a few times. I've watched some like really funny clips with different guests that he's had on, some different comedians he's had on, and they all kind of like roast the shit out of each other. I think that's kind of what the vibe is. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
And the last one that I saw, they had, they drew like comedians out of the hat, and they had 60 seconds or 60 minutes or whatever to go up on the stage and tell a joke.
Yeah, okay. 60 seconds of them going on there, and that's great. And that platform's fantastic for comedians that are. It's great. I love it. Yes, but we're talking about Tony here. Great. I'm glad he gave those people the platform. He's not funny. There's nobody's going to convince me otherwise at all. But just kind of like what Bell's boy said, that is very, very true. He has a Netflix special coming on, and of course, WWE is Netflix, so we're doing a little cross promotion here.
Well, we've been doing a lot of they've been doing a lot of Netflix cross, but they've never allowed anybody on the commentary table from Netflix.
Yeah, no, it's something different they're trying. There's also some other things that we could talk offline about. That there's a reason why he's involved on this show, and we'll keep it offline. But I will not do it here. But cool. I'm happy for him. I don't think he's quite funny. I don't think he connects with the WWE audience. I don't think people quite understand what the WWE audience is these days. I think it has changed from our 90s, early 2000s of who is watching wrestling. We have smart individuals watching, and there's a lot of things that come into consideration while watching this, and I don't think people find him funny. I think there's some other things behind the reason why those comments were made about Tony on there. But nonetheless, they could have picked somebody funnier. I don't know. I don't find him funny either, but it's cool. I want all the guests to come on and make some stuff happen.
Yeah. Max.
I would like to make 2 points real quick.
Sure.
First off, respectfully, very respectfully, I would like to disagree with your statement that he's never been funny. He was funny one time, and that was last night on Raw when he said that Michael Cole wasn't your first match that you called David versus Goliath.
If I'm getting paid $1 million to make that comment, fuck, I would have. That's not funny. That's like standard fucking elementary comedy. I don't. How's that funny? I don't get that at all.
Pointing out that he was funny one time, in my opinion, I'd like to ask why it had to be Tony Hinchcliffe. You have another gentleman who's got a comedy special, not just a stand-up special, but like a new comedy show debuting on Netflix here soon, who is actually hilarious. And you've been doing ads for him on almost every episode of Raw since it debuted on Netflix.
Yeah.
Why don't we have John Mulaney do commentary? That dude would be hilarious on the commentary table.
It would, you know what? I mean, anything would be better than what happened with AEW when those girls said what wrestling was predictable or like predicted or something like that.
Yeah. They gotta. I know what they're trying to do, and that is great for wrestling. We got to do some cross promotions, but they had to be cautious on who they're bringing over, because I think the wrestling fans really get disconnected with that kind of stuff. But it's great. I mean, like, you have to know your audience. Like, we all talk about Travis Scott's appearance on wrestling with the Cody Rhodes. We don't understand that because we're a little bit older. However, he grabs a totally different audience, the younger people that watch the show quite frequently, and that's why they gravitate towards that. So they have to be smarter on who they choose.
And I get why, I understand why they're pulling in all these high prolific pictures and stuff. I understand that. But Max, I don't know what you're shocked about it, but
Baron, I don't like your friend anymore.
What happened? Ew, where's R-Truth? Put him on the commentator booth, man. That dude, that is actually the best comedy you're ever gonna get.
Oh my god! So, okay, can I ask a question here? Because I obviously just wasn't paying attention or something, because I didn't think he said much. Apparently, he did. What did the thing that's standing out apparently is the thing that he said about Big E? Do we have a note on that anywhere? What did he say about him?
He let me see. Let me go back up here.
Can we get a quote or something?
He just
give me a goddamn cliff note on this.
Yeah. Oh my god. You would make this, wouldn't you, J-Bone? Jesus Christ.
Well, here's the thing. So, like I said, offline discussion about this. So you remember what happened with Hulk Hogan when he came out? I don't remember. A lot of people booed, right? So there were some comments made outside of wrestling from Tony that was really, really negative during a certain thing. And I think no matter how we view comedy,
did he have sex with his best friend's wife?
No, probably worse, but it's actually worse. But I think that's what happened, and why there's a lot of disgruntled fans out there that are talking about it.
This comes from CagesideSeats.com. Okay. All right, it says, Tony, the Kill Tony host used some of his Cole barbs to hit other topics. One instance was when he said that Cole was stiffer than Big E's neck.
Oh, Jesus. I'm sorry.
That's dirty.
Oh, I'm going to hell because I laughed at that. Okay.
Fucked up. That is fucked.
I mean, I get why J-Bone laughed at it, but
that's what we like our old school. If you like, old school, we call that a Garoner foul. It's like, oh god,
that's roasting. I mean, that's just roasting. But he wasn't there to roast anyone. The roast of WrestleMania 41 isn't until after night fucking 2. Tony, calm the fuck down, dude.
Did you hear about Big E's response to his comment though?
What was this response? Because I didn't see that.
So the Sam Roberts brought that line up when E stopped by the Raw Recap podcast after Monday's show, asked to comment on Hinchcliffe's joke about the injury that seemingly ended his wrestling career. The former WWE champion took the high road, while also making it pretty clear that no one ran it by him in advance. I guess at my big age of 39 years old, people will say what they want about you. It's not their opinion of you has nothing to do with me. It's not my business. Look, say what you want. He was given a mic. He was given an opportunity. People will feel how they want to. It's just, there's a lot of discourse. Oftentimes as a public figure, people will say things about you, whether they're jokes, whether they're not, and that is their right. I think the one thing is, and I get I'm on here, it was said on the show, I'm supposed to talk, especially when things are mentioned about me, I should have an opinion on them. It's tiring to have to weigh in on everyone's opinion or whatever they say. Look, I'm not hurt. I'm good. I want the discourse to be had without me, honestly. I really have no desire to weigh in on this. I didn't sign up for this. I wasn't aware of this. He did what he wanted to. People signed off on it. Has nothing to do with me, truly.
I don't think anything else is going to come of this, but for now, it's such a hot topic because we have the roast coming up, because Wrestlemania is coming up, and because this dude has his own show on Netflix. I think it's going to blow over, but still not a good choice of words to use against a wrestler, especially one who has a serious condition. You know,
Yeah, I think
Well, he's injured.
who's
He's not like mentally retarded for anything. It's just
no,
Jesus.
but I mean, like he's a life-ending, career-ending, injury.
Career-
But
okay.
who's the guy that doesn't roast on Comedy Central?
Jeff Ross.
Yeah,
I was gonna
Yeah,
say
why
Ross.
didn't you get like Jeff Ross? Like that dude can fucking roast, man. I love the roast, dude. Absolutely
Anyway.
love it.
We could go on and on and on about this, but let's move on to AEW news and a big return on Dynasty with Anthony Bowens. And it was kind of cool to see him go up against Max Caster. But did you notice there was something, the STP on his gear? J-Bone, I immediately thought of you, man.
Dude, I only saw clips of the whole pay-per-view. What I saw, I enjoyed, so we're gonna try to watch it in full at some point. I'm so glad that he's back. I know that he's been gone for a while, and I know Max Caster has been doing this like open challenge thing, from what I've heard. And so the fact that he did an open challenge and Anthony Bowens responded, came out to some really cool Jane's Addiction music, some stuff from oh god, I don't know. It's called The Underground. It's a great tune. So if you like the band, I know you love the tune. So yeah, and that place popped. He looks great. I'm glad he's back.
Yeah.
And, so apparently on the media scrum, he talked about I just found this. I don't know if this is real or not, but hey, we love you too, man.
Yeah, see, it's STP. I mean, the Smash This podcast,
It's that's my first thought. I was like, wow, he loves the podcast. Great. I guess I gotta bring it back. Yeah. But no, it's actually the S. What looks like a S is actually a 5. And it stands for 5-tool player.
Oh,
okay. I was about to ask, like, what does that actually stand for? STP, but it's a 5. That makes more sense now.
He mentioned that at the excuse me, the post media scrum afterwards when Tony brought him out.
So
and he talked about the 5-tool player meeting.
Yeah, but we're just going to talk about him promoting your show.
But
right.
Really,
because I'm an asshole.
A 5-tool player means a player who excelled in all 5 major areas of the game: hitting for average, hitting for power, speed, fielding, and arm strength. It's a reference to baseball, which, whatever. I don't know why he chose to have that on there, but it is what it is. But welcome back, Anthony Bowens. Really cool to see him return. But another story that is hitting up the headlines, and of course we talked about the Hall of Fame for WWE. Of course, we talked about Lex Luger. He's had an amazing wrestling career, and after a long wait, he's finally getting inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame this year. And many fans are wondering if AEW would let Sting do the honors of inducting him. And now Luger has made it clear that he really hopes that Tony Khan allows Sting to induct him into the Hall of Fame. Now, while speaking to Bill Apter, Luger talked about the idea of Sting possibly inducting him into the Hall of Fame, saying that he really hopes it can happen. He stated how grateful he is to DDP for all the support over the years and said it would be a dream to have both Sting and DDP with him on stage. Since walking can be hard for him, he imagined them standing on each side, helping him if he starts to fall. And I quote, "I said, well, obviously DDP has been working with me so much in the past, and I'm so thankful. I'd love for him to be out there. But I said, man, if I had a dream scenario, have you ever had a twofer, 2 guys out for somebody? I thought they could kind of spot me. So if I try to walk and I start to fall, I could have my two best buddies there spotting me on each side. Luger said he wouldn't talk for long during the speech, just a few minutes from the heart to thank everyone. Lex shared that he mentioned the idea to someone high up in the WWE who's Triple H's right-hand man. And that person said they would need to run it up the chain of command, and Luger hasn't heard back yet. Still, he thinks it would be a really nice moment for both of him and the fans too, man. And Luger said that he also said that even if WWE allows it, they would still need permission from Tony Khan and AEW for Sting to appear, since Sting is under a Legends contract there. Even though all those steps, they have to go through all those steps and jump through all those hoops, Lex hopes it can happen because it would mean a lot to him and be something special for the fans to see. And you know what, man? I say, Tony Khan, if you see this, just allow Sting to go to the WWE. It's where he started, dude, and let him induct Luger into the Hall of Fame. I mean, there hasn't been approval from WWE to have Sting or DDP induct him yet, but come on, man. I am all for this.
Who else are you going to get? I mean, seriously.
Well, exactly. Who else is there?
Is he like Sting is? What's his contract? What do we know? Like, what his contract?
So it's a Legends contract. He doesn't wrestle, but he goes and I think he makes some appearances for AEW.
Well, he's on his last like appearance tour in the makeup this year. That much I know. And as far and the AEW can still print merch with him.
Yes, yeah.
Make action figures through Jazzwares, which is still coming out. It's granted they're great figures, and I have a good chunk of them. But
did he sign a Legends contract with WWE?
No, because
during his run or anything.
No, because he didn't really have a run with the WWE like he did with AEW. But no, he did sign a Legends contract with Tony Khan's company, where, as J-Bone just said, they can print figures, he can do signings, he can do this and that, and just appear for AEW.
But he's got to get rid of that beard.
No, dude, it's like Eminem, man. The beard's weird, man. I
saw that picture. I'm like, bro, that's not. I said that's not Sting.
I thought it was AI, man. Let me go look.
Your beard's weird. Oh my god, that's gonna be in my head. Dude.
Here it is. Let me pull this up. Oh my god, dude, it's so fucking strange. Let me pull this up.
Not
I haven't seen it. I guess I need to see it.
Let me pull this up. And if we go here and
your weird beard,
dude, I'm telling you, is that not?
Holy, what the hell?
Is that not?
See, that's a lot shorter than the picture I saw. The picture I saw, it was like
weird, bro. Yeah, that's terrible.
That was just freaking odd, dude.
Yeah, that looks really weird on him.
Yes.
He always had just like that normal like black goatee, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Or like the chin thing.
The chin, I don't remember what you call that, but yeah, that looks really fucking weird. Dizzy, that's gonna be in my head all fucking night. Thanks for that.
It is. It's freaking stupid. Like,
it's one thing if you don't dye your hair, that's fine,
Yeah.
But jeez,
I really thought it was AI for a minute. I really thought it was AI, and I'm going through the pictures here to see if I can find a better one. But that's
here we go. Yeah, Max just shared one here. I'll bring it up.
Let me bring it up here. There it is.
Yep.
Oh wow, that's a lot worse than that first picture that you sent.
I'm like that ain't Sting.
Yeah, no way. He's never had a beard like that.
The beard is weird. That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. But either way, I hope that Tony Khan can just pull the stick out of his ass and let Sting go to the WWE just for one night and induct Lex Luger into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he could be out there for 5 fucking minutes,
Yeah.
And I bet you WWE would probably pay him just as much as his Legend contract for that 5-minute appearance.
Probably.
So fuck it, go for it. I think that would be a great moment at the Hall of Fame, especially with Lex Luger's health. So
You know what, Sting? I think Sting's the kind of guy. He probably would be like, you know what? Don't pay me. Just make it happen.
yeah, no, I agree. I agree, and I think that would be huge for Lex. So I hope it happens as well.
Yeah. I really hope it happens for Lex too. Max, I know you don't like Lex. I know you don't.
I've stated my opinion before. You
know
guys
you
know
have.
what it is.
I know.
I cannot get behind him being inducted.
I know. It's hard for me too. It's really hard for me too. But you know, at some point, I mean, we can't control it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I kind of have to let it go, and because I can't control it. We know what he did. We know what the fuck. We know what, and we know why we don't like him. But if it seems like Lex is trying to make amends with his past, but that's one that he really needs to bring out and into light and say, I am sorry for this. And of course, we're talking
What
about
he has.
business.
He has recently. I don't know what interview it was, but that's one thing he has absolutely copped to was the death of Miss Elizabeth.
Actually, he really didn't say that much. He said that he feels responsible because he introduced her to that world. You're the reason that she had the drugs the night she died.
Yeah, no, and I agree, and I should have probably said that before, like just saying like, yeah, I'm happy for him. But in the world of wrestling, when it comes to overdosing and drugs,
everyone's adults.
Yeah, but not just that, but everybody has been introduced at an early age with wrestling for that, and it sucks to say out loud. And you know, I've had many friends in my life overdose on drugs, and close family members as well. So I hate to see that, and that's a personal addiction people have to really, you know, fight, and that sucks.
Yeah,
it does suck. And you know, yes, at the end of the day, Miss Elizabeth was an adult, and we have to agree with that. But Lex also played a hand in giving her that opportunity to make that decision. You know what I'm saying? Lex had the opportunity. Lex gave her the opportunity to say yes or no, and probably peer pressured her to do it. You know, but
I don't know. All I heard is that they were fighting. She went off in the other room, grabbed a bunch of pills, grabbed some vodka. Boom.
Yeah, and I'm sure Lex was hard to handle back then.
Well, yeah, they were both a mess.
They were both a mess, you know, and the person I really feel sorry for, not only is it Miss Elizabeth, but I felt for Randy Savage too.
Yeah.
You know? But anyway, in any way, shape, or form, back to the story, I really hope that Sting is allowed to come over to the WWE. I hope DDP is going to come to induct Luger into the Hall of Fame. As much as I really don't want to see Luger go in there, he's going. We have to deal with it.
Yeah. And look, I'm gonna just speak as the elder statesman. Whether you agree with my opinion or not, it's fine. It's you know, we can agree to disagree. That's fine, and that's why we have this show. Is if we all were like, yes, we love everything, and everything we love is everything we talk about, and that would be one boring ass show. So look. You know, we're going to disagree, and that's fine. You know, I don't think any less of anyone because of their opinion. I hope you don't think any less of me because of mine. But look, I've always loved Luger. Luger was one of my favorites from my youth. So there's a part of me that is always going to love Luger. And just in the same way, there's always going to be a part of me that is always going to love Hogan. Yeah, okay, Hogan's fucked up, and oh, he said this and he did that, and okay, whatever. We've all done stupid things, but are we still friends with each other? We all love each other. Yes, you know.
Yes, but on that statement, fuck Hogan. Fuck
Hogan.
On the statement, fuck that man.
Max, I want the closing statements to come from you because I feel like you have something to say.
Listen, there was another great wrestler that put his all on the line, and tragic events took place in his life that he passed from, but the man was amazing in the ring, and we're not inducting him. I don't believe we should be inducting this man. However, I will agree with my co-hosts that if we're going to have this induction, Sting is probably the man for the job. And I'm going to leave it at that.
Who else would be the other option of?
Well,
not Sting?
DDP's helped them just like so many others to get across that stage, like Scott Hall and
But Max, who are you talking about? The
other
other
Benoit.
Oh, well.
Yeah, that
I'm
one's
not-
gonna.
listen,
yeah, I know exactly what you're saying, Max. I totally
I'm not
agree.
saying lift the restriction, put him in. All I'm saying is if after his actions he's not in the Hall of Fame, my opinion is that Luger doesn't belong either. I'm just stating my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fucking fine. Well, it's a very, very fine line because the Benoit thing was so public, like so damn public, versus Miss Elizabeth. I'm saying that the publicity for Benoit, because they did a whole like tribute show on Benoit, it was all in the news, and then they backtracked.
Right, that was before all the facts came out.
That was before all the facts came out. That's when they backtracked. So it's kind of a fine line that you're drawing here, because not the severity of the situation, but because of the publicity that the situation got. So with that being said, I like to move on because it's a very touchy subject. Dynasty pay-per-view had a lot of numerous surprise moments in store for fans, and this definitely included Adam Cole finally winning the TNT Championship after beating Daniel Garcia. Following Cole's hard-fought win, Britt Baker reacted to Cole's victory. Britt took to Twitter and commented on a post about Adam Cole's TNT Championship win as she showed support to her former partner by using a clapping emoji, making it clear that she felt that he deserved the win. AEW Dynasty once again showed why AEW is known for really cool wrestling moments. And this one, honestly, I'm happy for Adam Cole. He was emotional. He got the TNT Championship along with Britt's touching reaction. Showed not just the action, but the stories fans love, but also the real emotion behind the wrestlers, and fans wouldn't have it any other way. Also,
he's been through so much, man. He had back-to-back injuries that just, man.
Dynasty went down in Philadelphia. It was a pretty big pay-per-view for the company, and they closed things off with a major main event match. And I'm talking about the World Championship match. It was on the line as Jon Moxley and Swerve Strickland went at each other. And Jon Moxley entered the event as the champion, defended the title against Strickland. The match closed out the pay-per-view, and it came after Kenny Omega was able to retain his international title in a stellar triple threat match. A really good match, honestly. It also received a big fight feel thanks to Justin Roberts in ring announcing. We also saw a lot of run-ins with this match, though, going back to Swerve Strickland and Jon Moxley, and that was including Hangman Page, or Adam Page, the Death Riders, and the Ops. But the match took a pretty big twist when Swerve threw a chair, hit Mox in the head, then he climbed the top rope, nailed another Swerve stomp off the top rope, but he couldn't make the cover in time. That is when the lights went down, and when they came back up, the Young Bucks were in the ring, and they nailed a double V-trigger on Swerve and left with a sea of boos from the And after that night, John made the cover and got the win, and that was a pretty big there was a lot of controversy as far as that goes, but there was another pretty interesting thing that happened, and that of course involves Adam Copeland rather. And we know why things got so violent in that match after taking a savage post-match attack from FTR during the AEW World Trios Championship bout. The Hall of Famer is expected to be off of TV for a few months on Wrestling Observer Radio. Dave Meltzer, Uncle Dave. So again, take this with a grain of salt. Dropped the update saying, quote, I don't expect him back until July, so he will miss the next pay-per-view. I think he'll be out for a while, end quote. This confirms what fans suspected after Copeland took a brutal concerto from Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler following their loss to the Death Riders, turning them heel. The match itself was a show stealer with Rated FTR nearly toppling Claudio Castagnoli, Pac, and Wheeler Yuta until things unraveled very, very quickly. But despite coming up short, Rated FTR stood tall in the ring after the match, and the unity didn't last long. Dax suddenly turned, smashing Copeland and signaling Cash to join in. Cash hesitated by shoving Dax and then joined in on the assault, delivering a pile driver onto a steel chair before executing the two concertos. Cope is reportedly gone in AEW All In until All In July, rather. And the question now turns to what FTR's betrayal means moving forward and who will step up in Cope's absence. So it's kind of interesting with how they're going. But with all the positivity and the good things for AEW, we do have to talk about Collision viewership. And the numbers for the go-home show, AEW leading up to the Dynasty, have been revealed, and it's not good. So according to WrestleNomics, AEW Collision drew 335,000 viewers on TNT. That's a slight decrease, negative 1.2% from the March 29th episode, which brought in 339 viewers.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is why we moved to Tuesdays.
Yeah. Yeah. It also, in the 18 to 49 demographic, the show earned a 0.08 rating, also down from negative 11.1% from last week's 0.09. Now, these figures only reflect TNT's TV broadcast numbers. They do not include Max streaming viewership, not UMax, HBO Max, which remains unreported. The latest episode of AEW Collision, of course, saw the one that shall not be named, and Harley Cameron, who is I've grown a big crush on her. Actually, Harley Cameron's hot.
Wait, Harley Cameron or
Harley Cameron, Harley Cameron, not the doll,
not the puppet.
No, not the puppet. No, Harley Cameron.
Just making sure.
They teamed up against Athena and Julia Hart, which the one that shall not be named, and Harley Cameron lost after she let Cameron get pinned. Athena celebrated the win as her feud with Monet was clearly building up. Sorry, I mentioned her name, Max. I apologize. But it's interesting to see where we're going to move with AEW. Let's move on to some TNA news before we wrap up, gentlemen. And go ahead, sir.
There's two things about AEW I want to say. We only picked for 6 matches when we did our picks last week because that's all we knew. The rest of the matches got added later, and they added a lot of matches.
They did add a lot of matches. Yeah.
So the matches that the three of us picked on were Omega versus Ricochet versus Speedball for the AEW International title. Mm-hmm. Dizzy and I both picked Kenny Omega. J-Bone picked Ricochet. Dizzy and I are up 1-0 so far over J-Bone. Moxley versus Swerve for the AEW World Championship. Dizzy and I both picked Moxley. J-Bone picked Swerve. We're up 2-0 over J-Bone so far. Toni Storm versus Megan Bayne for the AEW Women's World Championship. Dizzy and I picked Toni Storm. J-Bone picked Megan Bayne. We're up 3-0 over J-Bone so far. Death Riders versus Rated FTR for the Trios Championship. We all picked Death Riders, so now we're up 4-1 over J-Bone. Y2J versus Bandito for the Ring of Honor Championship versus
so stupid.
Mask. We all picked Bandito, so now we're up 5-2 over J-Bone.
But hold on. technically Chris Jericho won the match, and then they restarted it for some stupid reason, and Bandito won.
Hey, all I know is I pulled the results off of Wikipedia because I didn't spend $60
Yeah.
for this. Finally, the last match we picked Daniel Garcia versus Adam Cole for the TNT Championship. Dizzy and I both picked Cole. J-Bone picked Garcia. Dizzy and I stomped J-Bone 6-2. Now, the other thing I wanted,
does that just go to show that AEW is that damn predictable?
I mean, the last time we did picks for AEW, I didn't do this well. This one was pretty obvious. The other thing I want to talk about is we usually talk about Netflix numbers for Raw. We talk about the fact that we don't have numbers for Max, for the streaming on HBO Max for AEW. And I've quoted this guy before. His name's Eric Angel. I met him locally. He's an indie wrestler. He's been all over. He was part of a tag team called the Canadian Pitbulls. I want to talk about what he just said a few days ago about this situation. He says the real reason that Max doesn't share their viewership numbers is because they are not a top-tier streaming service. Sharing those numbers would reveal how little people actually watch Max, which would be a bad look by Warner Brothers Discovery, whose business is already rapidly declining. Services like Amazon Prime, Netflix, and even Peacock have millions of subscribers, so of course they're going to wave those numbers proudly. Max releasing their numbers by comparison would be like comparing attendance of a TNA show to attendance at WrestleMania. Even if the TNA show was a sellout of 3,000, which is great for an indie show, it ain't shit when you compare it to the 70,000 at WrestleMania. And I'm not going to read the rest of the post. The point that was made is what I wanted to bring up. Max does not want to. I do. I want the numbers. Let's put them out there. I want to know how many people are watching me. Whereas Warner Brothers Discovery, on the other hand, does not want to know how bad their numbers are doing, and they don't want the rest of us to know because those numbers are bad.
Yeah, that makes a whole hell of a lot of sense, honestly. I know that Max recently had a price increase for their sports packages that they offer on there, including AEW.
I'm like, Max, why are you doing that? Why are you raising your price? Oh, wait, never mind.
Because I'm worth more.
He is damn right. He's worth everything, man.
Right.
Damn.
Listen to this man over here. He knows what he's talking about.
Damn right I do.
I ain't paying it.
Let's move on. Well, you don't have to.
Don't worry, J-Bone. I ain't paying that shit either.
Oh, you guys.
Even though I do pay for Max.
Hold on. I'm going to fine you two. I'm fining you two for those comments towards Max.
Oh, no, brother.
And
what's our fine?
Listen here.
I don't give a shit about your little Cena thing. I don't care.
You're not going to find me. You can't. No.
2 weeks worth of Culvers, or do you think, Max, it needs to be 4?
Oh, well, I mean, considering the fact that they went without us already, I really think it should be 4.
All right. 4 weeks worth of Culvers. You two owe us.
Oh, good thing, J-Bone, you got that discount. So should be rather cheap.
And we can get anything we want on the menu.
Hold on now. Well, good thing Culver's only has 4 things on their goddamn menu.
All I'm going to do is bring over a bucket of walleye and slap you both with it.
Max, see how fast the tables turn when I issue a fine on these two?
I can't believe I'm getting fined. This is unreal. I am disgruntled.
I don't care. I'm disgruntled that you're picking on my best friend, Max.
Well, he's picking on my best friend, J-Bone.
Your best friend opened his mouth against Max, and then you go and support him, and I'm supporting Max.
I'm Switzerland, okay? I'm neutral. Leave me alone.
No.
You open your mouth. Nope.
My family is literally from Switzerland, so.
Oh, damn it. Okay, well,
You open,
I
you
guess
open, you open
now
this,
you can call Baron racist now. Jeez.
you open this can of worms, Baron, and you have to pay the penalty.
all right. God damn it. Whatever.
So you might want to start rethinking about your best friend over there. Tell him shut up.
Where's my dog at? Maggie, come here, baby. You're my best friend. No. I'm picking different sides here. Screw you guys. I'm going back to my dog.
Let's go with some TNA news. Joe Hendry, he's in the news. His shoulder injury.
It's my new best friend right here.
Can we
High
please?
five.
Can we
High five.
please? Can we please? Okay, thank you. Joe Hendry, his shoulder injury sent shockwaves through the TNA wrestling world this week, but now things might not be as serious as they first appeared after TNA announced that Hendry suffered a grade 3 severe sprain in his rotor cuff during a chaotic April 3rd episode of TNA Impact. Fans began fearing the worst. The world champion could be sidelined right before Rebellion. The company even posted footage of Hendry in visible pain after the beatdown, further fueling concern. But in a major update, veteran reporter Mike Johnson of PW Insider chimed in on April 4th, rather, saying, quote, "I believe this is storyline driven. I'm not 100% sure," end quote. That comment has completely flipped the narrative, suggesting this dramatic injury might just be a part of a larger angle instead of a real setback. If true, be another brilliant move from TNA as they continue to lean into creative storytelling, especially with a rising star like Hendry at the forefront. But until there's official word from Hendry or TNA, fans are left wondering in limbo, unsure if the champ is actually hurt or if it's all part of the show. Now,
Well, it came at the hands of Ezekiel, right? Or not as Elijah.
yeah, I believe so. I
was looking
right.
at a meme earlier today, and it showed all these pictures of LA Knight, and it showed Ezekiel, and I was like, wait a minute, that's LA Knight didn't do that, did he? So here's my old fart ass actually, looking up shit, and all right, did he do that? No,
Right.
no.
Yeah.
So Elijah, excuse me, it was at the hands of Elijah.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see if it's kayfabe or if it's an actual injury. So we'll have to keep our eyes posted for that. But here's an even bigger story. TNA Wrestling might be taking its biggest event of the year to a brand new territory.
Ooh.
So according to Fightful Select, the Boston area, specifically Lowell, Massachusetts, is under serious consideration to host Bound for Glory this October.
Oh.
If that happens, it'll mark the first time TNA has ever brought its flagship pay-per-view to that part of the country. The venue in question, and I hope I'm pronouncing this right, the Songa Center, which has been, quote, an area that TNA has been looking at as a potential venue for the event, end quote, according to sources close to the discussions. To be clear, nothing is locked in yet, but the chatter, it's pretty real. As one source noted, that while conversations are ongoing, quote, "We've not heard anything that anything is confirmed or locked down as of yet, but have confirmed it's being discussed," end quote. Now, if you don't know, Bound for Glory has long been TNA's tentpole event, essentially their version of Wrestlemania, and taking it to Lowell, Massachusetts, that would be a fresh move for the promotion as they continue their 2025 expansion efforts. So, J-Bone, how serious do you think they are to take it to Lowell, Massachusetts, man?
I was just quick looking on Google Maps just to see where it is. So it looks like it's Lowell, Massachusetts is just north of Boston. Boston's kind of on the coast. Lowell's up the freeway. Where's about 10, 20 miles? Between 10 to 20 miles out of Boston, maybe not even, considering how big Boston is. So it's not that far. So it's going to draw some. It's definitely going to draw some, people from Boston and the surrounding areas.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
How I don't know how certain are you that they might do this? Do you think it would
Well,
be-
usually when stuff like this, kind of just knowing TNA, and when little things like this start getting out, like we started. When I say we, I'm talking to like the crew of TNI. We started hearing the little things about Bound for Glory hitting Chicago. What was it, last year, the year before, whatever it was? When we started hearing that, and that was pretty much a done deal. So yeah, it's probably legit. I don't see why it wouldn't be. I know I think the only other thing that I've heard is possibly the New York area, but I think they just did the New York area for a big pay-per-view within the last year. So they're probably just, I mean, they're always looking to expand, and they, Courtney says it'll draw, trust me.
Yeah.
She's from the Massachusetts area, so she should know.
So we might
She goes to plenty of events up that way.
Wow, so we might see Courtney on that pay-per-view then.
There you go. There we go.
Courtney, hold up a sign that says, "In Baron we trust." No, don't do that.
No, this is what she's gonna do. She's gonna hold up a big sign that says, "No, I'm kidding."
F, or it's not. It's 5 TP.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Courtney, if you do go to that event, if they do come to your area and you do go to that event and you do take a sign, it better say Ramblers Unleashed is awesome.
Or TNA.
Or I heard about this on Ramblers Unleashed. There you go.
Flash TNI, obviously.
There you go.
Flash TNI. Yeah, I mean, if you want to put TNI in there, that's fine.
I would love for a TNA event to come to like the St. Louis area.
That would be good.
They were just down there.
Oh yeah.
When?
They just had tapings there.
Oh shoot.
In fact, the tapings that are on TV right now are from the
Shea Fitz Arena.
Man, that shit is not advertised around here.
No, it's not.
They do not do a good job of advertising wrestling events specifically in our area.
Well, I know Bill was there.
Oh man, I would fucking 100% be there.
For TNA, I would say it's either the Shea Fitz Arena. What's the other smaller arena there? St. Charles Family Center, but
yeah, I was gonna say Family Center for sure in St. Charles area. That would be like, that's where I would think they would be at, and I think they actually have been there before.
Yeah,
but I'd be really curious. And obviously the fans out there in the chat, anytime a show of TNA is coming to the St. Louis area, I say St. Louis area when I know they're not going to be in St. Louis, but anyways. Let us know, because I will 100% be at one of those shows, because I think that would be awesome.
Yeah. And, we haven't really talked much about OVW or Ohio Valley Wrestling before we sign off for the night. I really wanted to get this on there, and it's not part of my show notes. It just hit me. But on Monday, OVW announced that Morley Sports Management would take control of the wrestling promotion starting May 1st. Rob Edwards, the founder of the UK-based company that owns Haverford West County AFC, which is a semi-pro football club in Wales, will take over as OVW CEO. And I really hope they keep Al Snow on as part of the creative for Ohio Valley Wrestling. But I just wanted to throw that out there that no, Ohio Valley Wrestling is not dead. They're still very much alive.
Oh, yeah.
But Morley Sports Management is now taking them over, which is cool. I mean, that's awesome. TNA was in St. Joseph's Civic Arena in St. Joseph. That's that.
St. Joseph?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
As a Missourian, I'm sorry, I just have to question St. Joseph. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with that.
St. Joe is probably a 3-hour trip from you, Baron.
Yeah, that's KC area.
Yeah, that's a KC area.
Yeah.
But
I'm just trying to think of that Civic Center. But
Yeah,
anything local St. Louis wise, please, T&I group, Ramblers group, let me know because I would love to go to one of those shows.
I'd love to go see a TNA show.
Yeah, for sure. Because that, when it comes to affordability as a wrestling fan, like that is crucial. Because like currently, I'm looking up Backlash tickets for St. Louis area.
Have they gone down any?
Brother, no, not
that
at
just
all.
means it's going to be a massive show.
It's going to be a big show, and I want to be there, and I want to make sure Disney's there. And
that's the one after Mania, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's usually
there you
the first
go.
one. After.
So the Rock's going to be involved. Cena's
yeah, dude, like
Cena's
we're talking second level from the first row is like still $800.
You should come to Backlash because I'm going to be champ and I'm the man.
He's going to be fucking champ. And we'll predict that the next show. But
yes,
let me know when TNA is in St. Louis area, and we're snagging up Dizzy and we're going to the show.
My man,
I will try to be a better communicator of these.
Yes,
events.
Please let me know.
Please,
especially when they come to the Midwest.
With that being said, yes, we are going to do
Colorado.
Our predictions for WrestleMania. How many days are we away from WrestleMania? 11 days away from WrestleMania. So yes, we will be doing our predictions, and I believe we're going to be going live after each night of WrestleMania. All right,
and all y'all over here in the chat, send your predictions to my Twitter.
Yes,
at Max Magus.
Yep.
This one, not this one. This one. And I will I need them before we do the prediction show. I will read some of them on the air as we.
There we go.
Yeah. So Max will read. So if you send your predictions, as he's frozen, just real quick, as if you send your predictions to at Max Magus on his Twitter account or X or whatever you want to call it, he will read some of your predictions.
And we promise that I promise you that they will not make fun of you like they make fun of me because
no, we will
no, never. But you know what? Let's up the ante. Let's up the ante here. If we get a good amount of people that do predictions, we'll have the winner. Okay, we'll take tally like we do with the four of us.
Yeah,
and we will throw out some Rambling About Wrestling, Ramblers Unleashed. I'm so sorry. Merch to that winner.
Okay,
courtesy of me.
I dig it. I like it. Okay,
that
so
nice.
Is this like is for the best predictions or we just...
let's do the 2-night overall tally like we're doing some like March Madness nonsense.
Okay,
whoever has the best record of both nights we'll get free Ramblers Unleashed merchandise.
There you go. We'll get you a t-shirt.
Yep.
And yeah, so send your predictions over to Max. He's the official tallier for all that. So make sure you get him.
You better fucking tally me as a winner.
Yeah. Max, you better tally me as a winner.
Max is going to tally himself as a winner.
And his friend.
Listen,
your best friend.
There is one other thing. There's one other thing I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Hey, this will be brief. Remember I told you guys I'm working on a little bit of a song that I'm going to share. I'm not good with music, but I can put words together once in a while. And so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to read you guys the very first part of this. That's it. I'm working on, there's more, but I'm only going to read you the first part right now.
Oh boy.
I walk with Elias. I believe in Joe Hendry. I eat with the delete and the prophets from the street.
Ooh, that's like a rap.
You spitting
bars.
He's got bars.
And there's one other thing I will say. Vicky Guerrero did make it into the song.
Oh boy.
My God. Well, I'm excited to hear that. Is it going to be ready before Mania?
I don't think so.
Damn. Well,
this is a project that is taking me some time to work on because I want to get things in a good order. I want it to sound right. But this is from all eras of wrestling that I'm trying to put this together.
Okay.
The Smoking Guns are in this. So
the Smoking Guns. That's going to be, I need to hear that. We will definitely be looking forward to that. But that is the show for tonight. This has been a hell of a show, man. Hell of a show. Let's go ahead and give our socials out. We'll start with the J Boner.
You can find me on the old Twitter box at JBone5150. That's JAYBONE 5150. You can also find me over on that other little show that we do on Thursday nights so proudly. We cover all the TNA stuff over on Total Nonstop Impact. We go for live for reviews, and when I'm up for it, we also do live reactions.
Boom. There you go. Baron, how can they follow you, sir?
You can find me on the Twitter box at Scumbag Jordan with 3 N's.
3 N's, sir. And, of course, last but not least, my very best friend in this whole wide world, Max Magus.
you can find me on Twitter at Max Magus. That's mostly for wrestling stuff. That's where you're going to send your predictions over for Mania. You can find my other podcast, the nerdy one, at Our Shots Podcast. You can find that on almost any pod service out there, or go to random-shots.net. Courtney, we love you too.
Yes, absolutely, Courtney. We love you. And if you want free Ramblers Unleashed merchandise, get your predictions over to Max Magus right now for WrestleMania nights 1 and 2. And the highest score will get free shirt, Ramblers Unleashed shirt from us. And we want to see a picture of it too. So make sure that you tag us on social media, JBone5150, Scumbag Jordan with 3 N's, at Max Magus. You can follow us, the whole show, on X at the Ramblers Pod. You can also find us on Facebook at Ramblers Unleashed. And if you haven't yet, please make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the videos, share the videos. That tells YouTube that you like what we're doing and suggests our videos to other folks. And as we continue the road to WrestleMania, Baron, did you have something to say?
I got nothing.
Okay. All right. Well, with that,
I got nothing, brother.
I heard you take a gulp of air, and I'm like, okay, he's got something to say. He's got something to add.
No, it's just
Today again, Baron?
Just like. All right.
Baron, what day is today again?
421.
It's Rusev Day.
It's Rusev Putria, Rusev Machka. And with that being said, we are out of here. Have a great rest of your week. Enjoy professional wrestling for whatever you prefer. And next Tuesday, we will ramble. See ya.
Thanks for tuning in to Ramblers Unleashed. Follow the show on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and click the bell icon for notifications of upcoming episodes.